From the Anthony L. Sarno Field in Stoughton, Massachusetts, it's Stoughton Black Knights football on Stoughton Media Access. And good morning, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving. I'm Steve Vecchione, and welcome to Stoughton Black Knights football. A terrific season for Stoughton. They finished overall 7-3, a really good playoff run, and now it's the annual Thanksgiving game with rival Canton. I'm joined by Dan Snyder, and Dan, it's been a really terrific year for Stoughton, and Canton, again, a big rival.
Right, Steve. It's been a terrific season for Stoughton, as you mentioned, and this Thanksgiving game doesn't have as much luster as it has in the past. The divisions being realigned a few years ago, finding Stoughton and Canton playing each other in the regular season as well. And we remember that first game earlier on in the season, 42-22 victory for Stoughton. Very impressive, as we've seen time and time again all year. And again, a very successful season for Stoughton, making a run into the playoffs, falling short. And Canton, not the greatest season, but it's Thanksgiving. These two teams play each other every single year, and we're excited for another great ball game.
Should be a really fun rivalry game. Before the game, we had a chance to meet the 18 seniors for Stoughton.
David Salucci, number 2, Dawes School.
Nick Hardy, number 7, Joseph H. Gibbons Elementary.
Marcellus Cox, number 13, The New London Elementary School.
Osmond Swain Price, number 14, Hanson Elementary.
Luis Montero, number 15, The Donovan Elementary School.
Lorenzo Espinoza, number 18, The South Elementary School.
Ryan Sullivan, 20, The Rainbow Preschool.
Xavier Rashid, number 23, Joseph H. Gibbons Elementary School.
Jack Conley, 27, Gibbons.
Pat Haggerty, number 31, Daw Elementary.
Andrew Iverson, number 50, West Elementary.
Harry Kimball, number 52, The Helen H. Hanson Elementary School.
Ryan Pierre, number 53, Lighthouse Baptist.
James Tashara, 54, Dawes School Dragons.
Tim Rake, 58, Gibbons Griffins.
Brendan Walsh, number 59, South School.
Jared Falcone, number 73, Hanson.
Lino Azul, 77, Rainbow Preschool.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to welcome to the field for the final time, your Stoughton Black Knights.
Should be a lot of fun, Dan.
It should be a lot of fun, Steve. I remember many years as a Stoughton High student. Well, only 4. I mean, that'd be a little weird. But coming here, watching these games, watching my brother play, a lot of great memories here at Canton's Field, and just excited for another great tradition ball game here.
So, each Thanksgiving at Stoughton, there are honorary captains. 18 seniors, as you saw in our intro, graduating. The honorary captains for today's game are Keith Callahan, class of 91. He was the first captain in Coach Greg Burke's career here at Stoughton. He finished his career on a Thanksgiving game against Canton after suffering an injury during the season, and he rehabilitated himself, according to Coach Burke, as hard as you can rehabilitate. And he made it for that Thanksgiving game. And Coach Burke called him as tough a kid as Stoughton has ever had. He was a running back and defensive back. And the other honorary captain, Sean Crowley, class of 2003, linebacker, tight end. He was an all-star, a great player at Curry College. The Stoughton captains, Ryan Sullivan, Andrew Iverson, Lino Azul, Izon Swain Price, and Jack Connolly. Number 27, he will not be playing. All distinguished players here for Stoughton. And the captains are out for Canton as well. The Canton captains, Thomas Monagle, Dan Alice, Dan Pierre, and Brian Smith. An annual tradition, the Canton-Stoughton Thanksgiving football game. Canton defeated Stoughton once last season in the regular season game, but since they have gone to a regular season format, Stoughton has a 3-1 edge. That would be for the regular season. As I said, Thanksgiving, Stoughton leads 46-40 with 4 ties. Canton wins the toss, and they will receive the kickoff from Stoughton. Dan, Stoughton's high-powered offense has really been a problem for a lot of teams this season, and Canton has its work cut out for themselves today against a team that really was clicking on all cylinders since week 3.
Yeah, clicking on all cylinders is a great way to put it. We saw the first game against Franklin, a hefty victory. 2 tough losses against Marshfield and North Attleboro, one being a non-conference powerhouse, the other one being the top of their division. And then running off great wins against teams that you should be beating in your division in Milford, Stoughton, or excuse me, Foxborough, Canton, Sharon, Foxborough, again, it just up and down the board, running all over each and every opponent. And then when we saw Evan Gibb insert himself, passing it all over everybody. So we've seen a lot of offense from this team, and they ran that right into the playoffs.
And now, our national anthem. The national anthem will be played on this current site. Stoughton will be on the road and at neutral sites in years to come until approximately the 2020 season, 2021, perhaps. They're not quite sure of the time frame, but there's going to be a new field where the high school is now.
It's definitely going to have a different feel to this venue, Steve. I mean, you're used to so many great years of football played on this field, and we'll see where the new field will be, or where the new home location will be for Stoughton while the time being, while the field is being built. Maybe on 138, I know there's a community field that the Pop Warner teams will use. There are other fields that are in the area that would be of use, but it's not going to have the same feel until that new field is built.
So Evan Gibb will be kicking off for Stoughton. We're just about set to go on Thanksgiving morning. About 35 degrees, no wind at all. Good conditions, Dan. As we get going, a low kick, and this is Dan Cohen fielding the ball for Canton as we get started here. Cohen works the right side, and he's across the 30. Canton will start with Dan Dillon at the quarterback. Dan Dillon replaced Dennis Ross early in the season, actually for the Stoughton game. Dennis Ross was the running quarterback for Canton, and he was doing a great job, but he was taken out of the quarterback role for disciplinary reasons right in front of the Stoughton game, and Dillon has been the quarterback ever since. Dennis Ross has played briefly since then, but this is Dan Dillon's team. And so from the 32, it's 1st and 10. They go up the middle, very short yardage, if anything. Second down and long coming up for Canton.
Yeah, Dan Dillon being a running quarterback, you're going to see a lot of that read option type of play, a lot of misdirection in the backfield. But Stoughton having enough speed, hopefully they can contain on the outside, and that's very important. You want to contain first the ball carrier and then close from the outside to limit the options to the outside.
It's second down and 9. Now, Dillon has done a very nice job for Canton, although they have struggled in the wins-loss column. He has 5 rushing touchdowns since assuming the starting role, 2 touchdown passes. He's done a very credible job. He went into the season as the backup quarterback. Watch out for number 12 to the left, Tony Harris. He's a playmaker. In motion is Ragusa. Dillon in trouble, being chased by Azul, and he's forced out of bounds by Swain Price. It'll be third and long.
Well, you mentioned number 12 in white for Canton going downfield. He is their playmaker. We're going to hear his name a lot in the passing game, and then Stoughton just doing a good job containing on the outside, limiting Dillon to minimal yards.
So the key guys to watch for Canton on offense, Alec Ragusa, number 30, he has 6 rushing touchdowns this season. And Tony Harris, as I mentioned, has 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 touchdown receptions. And he had the first touchdown in the 42-22 Stoughton win in early October. He scored on a 65-yard reverse, so he's an exciting player. 2 receivers out to the right on third down and 8. Dillon looks along the far sideline, incomplete. Canton will be forced to punt.
Just good job by Stoughton there. That starts with the secondary. Good coverage downfield, forcing Dillon to roll outside the pocket, and not very easy to throw in the cold when you're on the run like that. And not a lot of wind right now, but still a very difficult throw to make.
So from the 35, it's 4th down and 8, and Thomas Monagle, the senior punter, is back for Canton to punt, and Ryan Sullivan back for Stoughton to receive. Monagle's punt on the 24, goes up the middle, and is brought down after a 16-yard gain near the 40. 1st and 10, Stoughton.
Yep, Sullivan doing what he can on that one. Not a lot of blocking to help him out, so just gets the yardage, keeps his hands on the football.
Probably closer to the 39. That was 15 yards on the punt return. It'll be 1st and 10 for the high-powered Stoughton Black Knight offense. Watch for their all-stars, eyes on Swain Price, number 14, Ryan Sullivan, Davenport, co-MVP, number 20, Justin Lee, number 3. Evan Gibb, the starting quarterback, the sophomore, has done a terrific job leading the Black Knights. It's 1st and 10. They give to Sullivan, right side, good gain along the sideline, stays on his feet and goes into Canton territory around the 45-yard line. Ryan Sullivan able to get those extra yards.
Yeah, we've said it all year, time and time again. You're going to hear that name Sullivan on the outside, pushing for those extra yards. You're going to hear Lee up the middle, Swain Price, Gibb. Just too many weapons on the Stoughton offense to contain.
They mark it on the 44 of Canton. 17-yard run by Sullivan. That looked like it was going to be 7, 8, 9 yards. He got 17 out of it. 1st and 10 on the 44, 8:40 and running first quarter. Swain Price and Lee behind Gibb. Out to the right is Cox, Marcellus Cox. 1st and 10. Gibb hands to Lee, big gain up the right side. He may go into the end zone. He does. Touchdown, Justin Lee, 44 yards.
So it's not quite the 86-yard run we saw from Lee in the first game against Canton on the first play from scrimmage. 40 yards isn't that bad either, and just great hole up the middle by that offensive line. Again, those 5 seniors really opening up the gaps for Lee to run through, and does it again.
Well, you alluded to it. In that last game against Canton at Canton High School, they had 4 huge scoring plays. The 86-yarder by Lee, the 86-yard punt return by Ryan Sullivan, the 94-yard run by eyes on Swain Price, and the 60-yard touchdown reception by eyes on Swain Price. And now the extra point try by Josh Kochi. It's good. And Stoughton with the lead, 7-0 with 8:23 to go in the first quarter.
And not to be...
So Stoughton will be kicking to Canton. With the early lead, as we sort of thought this might happen, Stoughton's offense is really hard to stop. The last time they played here was against Dartmouth following the playoff loss to Duxbury. The 2 teams that did not advance met last time here at Sarno, Anthony L. Sarno Field A great win for Stoughton on this field the last time they played here, with Ryan Sullivan scoring the winning touchdown in overtime and then the 2-point conversion. So a lot of good memories as we wind down the history of this field.
You talk about that walk-off win last week against Dartmouth, a bold play call, you can say, by Greg Burke to go for 2 there at the end. But I mean, it's your consolation game, it's the playoffs, you're having fun, and look for a lot of that similar play call today.
Well, a fun start for Stoughton, leading 7-0. And now Gibb kicks it out of bounds. So Coach Dave Bohane of Canton looks like he's going to elect to receive the ball where the ball went out of bounds. He has the option of having them kick again. They're going to discuss it. Canton 3 and out on its first offensive possession. Now they get the ball back, trailing Stoughton 7-0. Again, back to the game they played earlier in October, the 42-22 Stoughton win. Stoughton and Canton were tied 7-7 after 2 long scoring plays in the first minute of that game. So we're 2 minutes and 37 seconds into this game. I don't know what happened. They didn't score in the first minute, the 2 teams. But we have a situation now where Canton is going to have a difficult time keeping up with Stoughton's offense. And I would think that their best strategy would be ball possession, long drives, try to keep Stoughton off the field. They elect to keep the ball where the ball went out of bounds on the 30, so it's 1st down and 10 Canton. The Canton Bulldogs. Dan Dillon, a quarterback. Ragusa in motion. They pitch to him. And Joseph gets him behind the line of scrimmage, a loss for Canton.
Yeah, what you alluded to, Steve, is the best way to keep your opponent's offense off the field is keeping your own offense on the field. And look for ball control, look for a lot of running plays, a lot of plays to really drag out the clock, because they can't score if they're not on the field. But when you get pressure like that from Stoughton's defensive line and everybody on that defensive front, it's going to be very tough to keep the ball for very long.
2nd down and 15 for Canton on its own 25. 5-yard loss. Passing situation, not their strength. Dillon play fake. In trouble, rolls to his right, throws down the middle. It is dropped. Dropped by Tony Harris. Looked like he had a good chance to catch that ball, but he got a little bit ahead of himself, and now it'll be 3rd and long.
Yeah, we talk about Tony Harris, the playmaker, and having to go across his body, almost making the one-handed grab. It's a valid effort, but it also puts the ball up in the air as a tip, and you don't want that on offense, because you don't want that ball floating up in the air. We've seen the Stoughton defense; they're ball hawks; they'll attack it.
So again, the passing game is not Canton's strength, and now they're forced on 3rd and 15 to look to go deep. They try to run it, and nothing doing, and they're going to have to punt again. Thomas Monagle will come out to punt to Ryan Sullivan.
No, Canton just playing ball security there. No sense in putting the ball up in the air and risking a turnover deep in your own zone. They'll just look to punt it away and force Stoughton to drive down the field again.
So Monagle standing on his 15. Sullivan standing to receive the punt on the Stoughton 30, a very short punt, good pressure, and that was a shank. That did not go very far at all. By my count, that is close to about an 8-yard punt, 6-yard punt, somewhere in that range. But now Stoughton with another golden opportunity to take a huge early lead.
Didn't get a good ball off there, just shanks it off of his foot to the right, and Stoughton's going to be starting right on the original line of scrimmage from where Canton started.
The original line of scrimmage was the 25. The ball is placed around the 31, so that was a 6-yard punt. 1st and 10 for Stoughton. Number 12 is Colin Sanda into the game for Stoughton at the receiver position, a flag down. It looked like procedure penalty. They'll push it back. 1st and 15 coming up.
Yep, movement up front.
7:02 to go, first quarter. Justin Lee with a long scoring run to start the scoring for Stoughton tonight, this morning. Been used to saying tonight all year. 1st and 15 on the 36. So Greg Burke using more personnel. He's brought people in gradually throughout the course of the year. Alex Soquist, number 33, he's in there. He's gotten good playing time. 1st and 10, the play fake. Overthrown for Nick Hardy, who's still looking for his first offensive touchdown this year. He had 2 touchdowns called back in one game due to penalties. He does have a defensive touchdown. It'll now be 2nd and 15.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, seeing Hardy going out for passes, you got Sand on the outside. Look for Greg Burke to implement new personnel here. It's the last game of the season for a lot of these seniors, their last game in a Stoughton High uniform. So they're going to be looking for a lot of playing time and look for a lot of different packages to be mixed in there.
And I think Greg Burke's looking a little ahead to next year as well. Justin Lee is a junior. He's going to lose a lot of people on the front line. Sanda, as I mentioned, number 12 in the game, he's a junior. 2nd and 15 on the 36 of Canton. Gibb calling signals. This is Swain Price along the far side. He will go all the way for a touchdown. Eyes on Swain Price, 36 yards. Another long scoring touchdown for eyes on Swain Price. He just continues to roll for the Stoughton offense.
Yeah, and just as we mentioned, we're going to see new personnel come in there, and then you got the original workhorses who get the job done just as well as anybody else does. We've seen all season Swain Price with his speed to the outside, breaks it to the outside, and there's no stopping him.
That was Swain Price's 12th rushing touchdown of the season. He has 5 touchdown receptions. Davenport All-Star. You could have made a case for him for Davenport MVP, I think. Now they're going to run it for 2 perhaps, but Sullivan is stopped. So it's going to be 13-0 Stoughton.
And not something new we've seen from Stoughton. They've opted to go for 2 on that fake time and time again, and with some success. Just Canton doing a good job pursuing the ball carrier there and not letting him score.
Canton was ready for that. As I mentioned, Ryan Sullivan was named the Davenport Division co-MVP, along with Bobby Mylott of North Attleboro. And I think you really could have made a case for Swain Price. I think you could have made a case for Blake Hill of Milford, who had some monster rushing performances this year. And I think when you had both Ryan Sullivan and Swain Price, kind of hard to distinguish between the two, and Sullivan is just so versatile and so hard to bring down offensively. He's done a terrific job defensively and returning punts. So 2 really awesome performances this year by Swain Price and Sullivan, and both have been recognized for their performances. The kickoff, a short one, it's picked up by Canton, and they'll have good field position to start their 3rd drive. That was a punt. They don't list the gentleman who returned that kickoff, so it'll be 1st and 10 for Canton on the 40.
And Steve, you mentioned earlier, it's very difficult to decipher who is your MVP. If we're going just Stoughton here, who is your MVP for the season? I mean, Swain Price was an all-star campaign, and Sullivan as well. It's very tough to decide who was the better player.
This is Pierre, and he is wrapped up. Marcellus Cox wraps him up at the 40. 2nd and long coming up. 6:25 and running to go in the first quarter. Stoughton with 2 touchdowns, long touchdown runs. Justin Lee and eyes on Swain Price. Stoughton leading 13-0 in the annual Thanksgiving game between Stoughton and Canton, a tradition since 1926. And as I mentioned before, they've added regular season games to this rivalry. They've always played on Thanksgiving, and they've played twice since 2013 after they reformatted the MIAA playoff structure. 2nd and 10 on the 40. The pitch to Ragusa, he's wrapped up by Joseph and Azul. Canton's offense really struggling. This Stoughton defense, which pitched 2 shutouts during the season. The first one was against Sharon, the second one was against Milford, actually 3 if you count the playoffs. So 3 shutouts for the Stoughton defense, and they were looking very formidable this morning.
And you look at Canton's offense, you know, they're not much of a passing team. They're going to give you a lot of looks on the ground with a lot of reverses and misdirection, but even if you are running a misdirection, you can still plan for that type of offense. If you're Greg Burke, you know they looked in the film room that a lot of this game is going to be played on the ground today from both sides, and then you can get aggressive on defense and open up your playbook to more blitz situations.
Well, on the previous drive, it was 3rd and 15, they ran the ball. Here it's 3rd and 14, and they run the ball with Ragusa. And Canton's not even trying to throw on 3rd and long. It's going to be very difficult to convert first downs 3rd and long running the ball.
Canton's going to have to open up their playbook here. And, you know, I know you're down 13-0 very early, and this game could get away from them, but you still got to open up your playbook and get more passes down the field, even if incomplete. Give them a look.
So here comes the 3rd punt to Ryan Sullivan from Thomas Monagle. This one's a low kick. Sullivan's going to pick it up on the 32. Reversing his field, he's in trouble here. Might have been a hold, they don't call it. Oh, they do, it's gonna come back.
Yep, we've got laundry on the field. We see Coach Brian Carew on the sideline. He knows what his team did, and this play looks like it's gonna come back.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been able to get the yardage he was able to get because of that block or illegal block, so it's gonna come back. 13-0 Stoughton with 4:09 to go in the first quarter. 2 long running plays for touchdowns, Justin Lee and eyes on Swain Price. So Canton in trouble here early against Stoughton, and they were basically blown out at home in the last game. Stoughton led 42-7. Canton made it respectable in the fourth quarter, and I do recall them playing very hard in the fourth quarter of that game, way down, and that was a tribute to Dave Bohane's team. They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to make it 42-22. They very easily could have just, folded up the 10 at that point, but they played really hard. Canton in trouble against Stoughton now. However, in the first quarter, it's 1st and 10. Sullivan's going to pass it back to Gibb. That play did not work. It was read very nicely by the Canton defense. Jude Albert was all over Evan Gibb. They tried something I have not seen yet this year. Sullivan taking the handoff and throwing it back to the quarterback. That didn't work.
No, it didn't work too well. Just unfortunate timing on that pass. And what we mentioned earlier is it's the last game of the season, so you're going to open up your playbook here, and we're going to see some plays that you normally wouldn't see during the regular season, and then in Stoughton's case, the playoffs. And just exciting to see what type of plays they can draw up.
A little bit of precipitation coming down now. It's 2nd down and 10 on Stoughton's 22. Sullivan will cut up the middle, breaks the tackle, gets the first down, and then some. What a run again by Ryan Sullivan. 23 yards. This is why he was co-MVP. He's so hard to tackle.
I mean, that's a 24-yard run that could have very easily been a 5-yard run or a 10-yard run. Those yards after contact is a stat that nobody really looks at much. 24 yards, very well earned there by Ryan Sullivan.
1st and 10 on the 45. So they tried a pass play with Sullivan. That didn't work, so they went conventional that time with him, and he's just so hard to bring down. And Stoughton again on the offense. Canton has its work cut out for them. I think if Stoughton can just not turn the ball over today, they will probably be in really good shape. 1st and 10. Gibb, play fake. Now he's going to roll to his left. He can run.
He can run, and he will.
Big gain for Evan Gibb into Canton territory, over the 40, down inside the 40, 1st and 10. And Evan Gibb bringing the running component to Stoughton with both passing and running. He gives them sort of a dual threat, and they've got 2 more years of Evan Gibb.
2 more years of Evan Gibb, and this season has been nothing but great experience for him. And like you mentioned, he can throw the ball. We've seen him huck it down the field. And then he adds the running aspect to his game as well. Very difficult for defenses to plan for that when you have to contain so many weapons, and then you have to worry about the quarterback as well.
1st and 10 on the Canton 40. 13-0 Stoughton. Soquist and Swain Price behind Gibb, as Soquist is stuffed for a loss. Thomas Monagle, the captain, wrapped up Soquist 2nd down and long.
Yeah, Soquist, another weapon we've seen just inserted into this system for Greg Burke. Greg Burke's a high-powered offense, and we've seen him get into the end zone a couple times this year as well, and just another weapon that they'll be looking to build for the future.
2nd down on 11 and 11 on the Canton 41. 13-0 Stoughton. Out to the right is Cox, Soquist, and Swain Price behind Gibb. The pitch to Soquist. Good block by Swain Price. That springs him for a nice gain.
Tough running yards there by Soquist, just trying to make this 3rd down a little more manageable.
So the original line of scrimmage was the 41, and the ball will be placed at the 29-yard line, so that is a 12-yard gain and a 1st down for Stoughton. So Stoughton using all their guys, Swain Price, Sullivan, Soquist. Very versatile offense. 1st and 10 on the 29. Sullivan takes it. Breaks the 1st tackle. Stays on his feet for a nice gain to about the 21. 2nd down and short upcoming.
There's more tough running yards there by Sullivan. You're not going to take him down with just 1 or 2 tacklers. You need to gang tackle him, get 4 or 5 bodies on him, it seems, and he'll still try to push through and get more yards.
We're down under a minute in the 1st quarter. 13-0 Stoughton. They're looking for more. Ball on the 21. Watch for Swain Price. 14. As predicted, runs the left side, gets some blocking, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, eyes on Swain Price, his 2nd of the game, 21 yards.
And one thing you don't look at on the outside as well is the blocking there by Marcellus Cox, 13 on the outside. Just very underrated skill for wide receivers to possess nowadays.
I swear I'm not calling the plays. I just had a feeling they were going to go to Swain Price there. Seemed like the right time. He's been impossible to bring down when they go to him. He is an amazing offensive talent. He really is. 19-0 Stoughton.
Well, we've heard his name enough getting into the end zone this year, so it's just easy to tell, or it's easy to sense when he's going to get the ball and when he's going to score.
Stoughton 20, Canton 0. In this annual Thanksgiving matchup between these 2 great rivals. And there's a lot of history between these great rivals. Last Thanksgiving at Canton, Stoughton won 26-13. Swain Price had 2 touchdowns. Here's some stats for you. Between 1950 and 65, Stoughton lost only 3 games to Canton. Between 2005 and 2011, Stoughton outscored Canton, check this out, 229-35 in 7 games. 6 straight years, however, on the flip side here, Stoughton did not score a point against Canton. They went 0-6 during that time. Greg Burke's first game in 1990 in the Thanksgiving matchup was a loss, but he broke the scoreless streak after all those years of not scoring against them. We have more to talk about as far as the history goes, but that's just a snippet of what's going on with these 2 teams. Cohen takes the kickoff from Gibb.
Turnover here.
Runs the right side, and he is met hard. So I believe that was Jason Joseph. 1st and 10 coming up for Canton with 27 seconds to go, 1st quarter, and I believe the sun is trying to make its way through here.
I mean, we've seen some weird weather already. We started off cloudy and overcast, a little cool, a little bit of wintry mixed precipitation, some sleet maybe. now the sun's popping out, and it looks like it's going to shape up to be just another fantastic Thanksgiving day.
Well, I'll take this weather over the last 2 Milford games that we had. But it's on the 25, 1st and 10 Canton, trailing 20-0. Ragusa in motion. Dillon keeps it and is going to lose more yardage. They are not getting positive yardage on most of their plays.
No, it's very easy to predict this play call here from Canton. I mean, you can just pursue anybody you can on whoever has the ball. You know, you're going to have 6, 7 guys in the box ready to pounce on whoever gets the ball.
Loss of 2, it'll be 2nd and 12 on the 23. As we've come to the end of the first quarter with the sun shining here at Anthony L. Sarno Field. The score, Stoughton 20 and Canton nothing. Let me just finish a couple more stats I had in this rivalry. This is my favorite one. Between 1949 and 1951, Canton was actually 25-2. But both of their losses during that period were to Stoughton on Thanksgiving games. So, and Stoughton, and here's another favorite stat, they have won 18 of the last 21 Thanksgiving games. So a lot of really different trends for both schools in the rivalry. And right now, Stoughton is on the upswing and Canton is struggling. And Canton has struggled this season offensively, and it has not been the best of years for Coach Bohane and the Canton Bulldogs. They are 3-7 with a very real possibility of going 3-8. Last 2 seasons, they've been 6-5. Coach Bohane in his 11th season at Canton. And of course, Greg Burke in his 24th season here at Stoughton, wrapping up a terrific year for the Black Knights and a positive future for next year. We start the second quarter. It's Canton, 2nd and 12 on its own 23. And they're going to have to open up the playbook and get some positive yards here. In motion is Pierre. They go up the middle for a very short gain, if any.
Trying to open up the playbook here, maybe look at giving some different looks in terms of ball carrier and different running attacks. Just nothing doing here for Canton's offense right now as Stoughton's able to pursue. You can see when you load up the entire offensive line, the defense is also able to load up the box with 9, 10, even all 11 of their players, so they can easily predict run and they can easily have somebody there to fill the gaps.
It'll be 3rd and 10 on the Canton 25. Again, in these situations, look for Tony Harris, number 12. He's their best playmaker. Out to the right, we have Marlon Joseph, number 33. Pierre in motion, play fake on 3rd and 10. Dillon looks deep, and it's incomplete. He was trying for the running back, Ragusa, out of the backfield. And it's punt time for the 4th time for Canton.
Yeah, it just Canton not able to do anything on offense right now. It's very difficult. Again, when you're a one-dimensional team, it's very difficult to get anything going.
I think the big problem has been they've not been able to get anything on 1st down. So they've been facing a lot of 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs, and they're just not built to throw the ball.
No, clear passing situations there when you have 2nd and long and 3rd and long, and Canton just doesn't have the weapons on offense to get that done.
Monaco back to punt for the 4th time. That's a nice high kick. Sullivan comes down with it on the 43, moves to his right, and gets about 6 up to the 49. It'll be 1st and 10 for Stoughton, leading 20-0. 9:49 to go, 2nd quarter. It's all Stoughton right now on Thanksgiving. Stoughton, with a win today, would go 8-3 overall. They were 7-3 coming into the game, following 3 playoff games. The first playoff game was here against Milford. They won 34-0. The game at Duxbury, that game will be remembered for a long time. The number 1 team in the state. Stoughton competed brilliantly that evening, almost won the game, fell a little short, then came home, beat Dartmouth here. So the Black Knights on a roll, and they are in a situation where they are just a much better team than Canton at this point. Gibb incomplete on 1st and 10.
Yeah, Stoughton looking to open up the offense a little bit, looking pass on 1st down, and Evan had to look to the outside, just had his arm deflected as he was releasing the ball.
2nd down and 10. Canton has it on its, or excuse me, Stoughton has it on its 49. 9:43 to go. Gibb gets the play. We've had a long touchdown run from Justin Lee. We've had 2 touchdown runs by Eyes on Swain Price. We've had the sun come out after a gray start with precipitation. 2nd and 10. In motion, Swain Price. He gets it. Now he breaks free along the sideline. He keeps going. Stays on his feet. They call a touchdown. What a run by Eyes on Swain Price. 51 yards, his 3rd touchdown of the game.
I don't know how he kept his feet in there, Steve. I mean, he's breaking to the outside, and it almost looked, it almost seems impossible that he kept his feet in bounds, but ref calls it in, and it's a touchdown.
Well, I don't think Canton could challenge whether he was out of bounds along the sideline, but let me tell you something. That was an incredible run. Incredible. 51 yards for Swain Price. 3 more touchdowns to his resume today. 26-0 Stoughton. Here's Josh Kochi. Good. I mean, he's had a lot of really great runs this year. That might have been the best of all of them.
I think that may have been the best one. I mean, it wasn't the longest run of the season, but just the athleticism and flexibility, able to keep his feet in bounds and keep his balance up to stretch for the pylon. Just that just screams MVP, if you ask me.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, it was really a hard decision for the people who choose these all-stars, and he's obviously an all-star. And again, Ryan Sullivan, totally deserving co-MVP, a terrific player.
Of course.
And it would have been hard for them to come up with 2 Stoughton players for co-MVP, I think. I think you had to acknowledge the great job Bobby Mylod did for North Attleboro, other players in the division as well. It just so happens they have 2 guys you could have named, and Swain Price now has more touchdowns today to add to what he's already done this season. Just an incredible play, that last play, 51 yards. 27-0, Stoughton. Cohen mishandles the kick. It gets worse for Canton, and Cohen is brought down. Poor field position for the Bulldogs in this game that has really gotten away from them.
Oh, then those low, tough squib kicks by Gibb there makes it very difficult to handle, and Cohen just lets it go right through his legs and does a good job of backtracking to ensure possession, but Canton's going to be hard-pressed to get anything going on offense after what we've seen so far in this ball game.
So for Eyes on Swain Price, that's now 14 rushing touchdowns this season, to go with 5 touchdown receptions, 19 touchdowns overall. And he's going out with a bang here in his senior season finale for the Black Knights. A great career.
Yeah, making his presence felt here, and just another impressive performance already, and it's not even the end of the first half.
Yeah, we have a long way to go in this one. It's 27-0. They go up the middle. This is a good game for Ragusa, big game. And this is the best play for Canton so far. Ryan Sullivan brings him down on Canton's 41, but a 21-yard run for Alec Ragusa. Nice job by Canton.
Yeah, signs of life there from Canton, and look for them to keep that pressure going, keep that momentum going.
They mark it on the 43, so 23 yards on that carry. 1st and 10 for Canton. Down 27-0. We have 9 and running to go in the first half. Out to the right is Marlon Joseph. The I formation. In motion is Pierre. They go up the middle. Ragusa. And Swain Price pushes him back, along with some other players, including Lee. 2nd and long coming up.
Yeah, I didn't think Stoughton was going to fall victim to 2 long running plays in a row. Their defense too tough to run through to allow that to happen.
Well, the previous play was the best play by far for Canton's offense. And again, they've put themselves in a position where on first down, they've really not been able to gain a whole lot. And they've actually lost yardage more often than not, I think. So it'll now be 2nd and 10 on their 42. Joseph out to the right. Again, Pierre in motion. They go up the middle, Ragusa. 3rd straight time he's gotten the ball. He gets about 5 there. It'll be 3rd down and kind of manageable for Canton relative to other 3rd downs they've had in this game.
Yeah, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 is a lot more manageable than your 3rd and 10, 3rd and long situations.
7:45 and running in the first half. Ball on the, we'll call it the 48, 3rd and 5. Look for perhaps an intermediate pass here. And Tony Harris has really not been involved, number 12. He's, like I said, their best weapon offensively. He's out to the left, Joseph to the right. 3rd and 5. They try to run it with Ragusa, but they're not going to get the first down. That was really, you know, a passing situation, and they didn't go with the pass, and now they're facing a 4th down and a decision around midfield.
Oh, Canton finally having some success on the ground running the ball, so thinking maybe they can sort of deceive Stoughton a little bit, you know, an obvious passing situation there, but keeping the ball on the ground, more importantly though, keeping the ball out of Stoughton's hands.
Well, nothing to lose right now. It's 4th down and 3 on the Canton 49. Dylan looking over to the sideline for the play. And now they call timeout. Actually, he's over at the sideline, and they're going to talk about this. Really, again, their best field position by far to this point, and a chance to keep the drive going down 27. Of course, the flip side is if they punt, they could pin Stoughton back in its own territory and maybe look to try and get better field position, which they haven't had either. But at this point, 4th and 3 or 4th and 4 according to the scoreboard. Hard to say what the best decision is, but really nothing to lose.
Well, when you've had what we saw from both this game and last game against Canton, Stoughton definitely can score in bunches and score at will from 70 plus, 80 plus yards. So pinning them deep in their own territory still might not be safe enough to keep Stoughton from scoring.
So Canton will go for it. Thomas Monagle, the punter, is not out there. 4th and 4. Dylan, they try to run it with Ragusa, running hard, and I think he has it. Let's see. Ragusa running hard, doing a good job on this drive. 1st and 10 for Canton.
Yep, near side judge signaling the first down. A good tough running there by Ragusa to get the first down.
Canton showing some life on this drive. And again, a good decision by Dave Bohane to go for it, to keep the ball. They have the ball in Stoughton Black Knight territory. Ball marked on the 47 of Stoughton, 1st down and 10. 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the first half. Out to the right is Joseph. They go to Ragusa up the middle. Short gain. 2nd and long coming up.
Yeah, a good job of standing up the ball carrier there. One thing you see on defense a lot is you get those first 2 tacklers to stand up the ball carrier if you can. That allows just other defenders to come in, punch the ball loose, try to turn the ball over, because if Canton's going to keep a sustained drive like this, Stoughton wants the ball. They know they want to keep scoring.
Ball marked close to the 45, 2nd and long, 2nd and about 9. We'll call it the 46. They pitch it to Ragusa along the near side. Justin Lee runs him out of bounds. He's also hit by Cox. 3rd and about 6 coming up.
Yeah, not a lot of room there to run there. Good job Stoughton containing, like we said earlier, on those option plays, those read option plays, starting from the inside and then branching outside. Good job for containment there by Stoughton.
Ragusa got down to the 41-yard line. their best drive. Down 27, 27-0 Stoughton. Thanksgiving Day here at the Anthony L. Sarno Field in Stoughton. It's turned out to be a nice morning in weather and on the field. It's third down. This is Alice, and he is thrown to the ground by Swain Price, doing everything tonight. Fourth down coming up.
Just another example of a great two-way player. You see that a lot in high school football, as we've seen all season. Swain Price doing the job on offense, doing the job on defense too. He's just an all-around great player.
And for the second time on this drive, it's fourth down for Canton. They're going to go for it on the Stoughton 40. 4th and 4. 4:40 to go in the first half.
Yeah, look for
3 eyes on Swain touchdowns, a Justin Lee touchdown. Fourth down coming up.
Look for Ragusa again, up again in the middle. Just their tough bruise runner. He'll look to get these tough yards, and looks like we have a timeout.
And Dave Bohane wants to talk about it again on the fourth down situation. They ran it the last time on fourth down and it worked. Let's see if they feature Ragusa or maybe try to get Tony Harris involved offensively, number 12, who had the 65-yard reverse in the first game between Stoughton and Canton. Again, the first game between Stoughton and Canton was a 42-22 Stoughton win. In the first minute of that game, you had the 86-yard run by Justin Lee. Then you had the 65-yard reverse by Tony Harris. After that, it was all Stoughton, and they led by as much as 42-7 before the final score of 42-22. Here, 27 points in the first half. Canton has not been able to get on the board at all. And they're faced with their second fourth down on this nice drive by the Bulldogs. They get the play after the timeout. Let's see if they elect to run the ball as they did on the last fourth down they had, or whether they'll put it in the air. Alice in motion, they do go up the middle, and I think they're short. It's going to be close. Let's see where they mark it. Oh, they got it. Well, Canton is saying they got it.
Yeah, Canton's saying they've got the spot. From our vantage point here, it does look a bit short.
Yeah, I had it right the first time. It'll be Stoughton possession. Well, Stoughton takes over. Official's not aggressive with that call, but nonetheless, Stoughton will get it 1st and 10.
No, very methodical there. I mean, I guess not a pivotal point in this ball game to warrant a big call, but nonetheless, Stoughton takes over.
So they have it on their 38, leading 27-0. And let's see what the offensive call is here. Stoughton is very versatile. Along the right side is Sullivan. Stays on his feet, stays into Canton territory, down to the 40.
Just unbelievable running there. I mean, you got Swain Price who can break it out outside with speed, and then you got Sullivan who's going to break it out outside with power. Just raw power, just those yards after contact, very important. Looks like he's going to have a gain of maybe 5 or 6, then a gain to the 40, but looks like Stoughton's coming back as there was a call on the field.
It's been amazing how many times I've said this year, Sullivan stays on his feet. He has the ability to gain extra yardage and not be brought down. He's very strong. I can recall Greg Burke saying earlier in the year that he was kind of skinny as a sophomore and that he's bulked up. He has gained some pounds. He does a great job in the weight room. First and 20 for Stoughton after the penalty on its own 28. The play fake. Gibbon trouble. Able to elude the rush. Now he throws it out of bounds. 2nd and 20 coming up.
Well, smartly throws it out of bounds there. He didn't have anything upfield and sort of protecting himself by not tucking it down and running. So they'll look for similar type situation on second down.
So 18 seniors playing their last game for the Black Knights, but Evan Gibb is a sophomore. Justin Lee, number 3, is a junior. And they're going to lose a lot on the offensive and defensive lines, and I think that'll be an area to look at next year for Stoughton.
Yeah, it'll be a tough transition period. I don't want to call it a rebuilding year just yet, because we don't know what kind of package they're going to bring together for next season, but it's going to be very difficult to replace a lot of your big playmakers.
2nd and 20, 3:55 to go in the first half. Gibb throws it into the ground, nothing there. Canton doing a good job on this series, 3rd down and long. And of course the penalty did not help either after the Sullivan run.
No, the penalty helps if you're Canton here, because it closes up the playbook a little bit for Stoughton. Not many plays you can run on 1st and 20, 2nd and 20, and now at 3rd and 20, there are even less calls that you can make on offense. So Canton's going to look to get pretty good field position here on 3rd down if they can turn the ball over.
27-0 Stoughton. Justin Lee, 44-yard touchdown run and 3 touchdowns by Swain Price. 36-yard run, 21-yard run, 51-yard run. We have 3rd and 20 on the Stoughton 28. Late second quarter. Gibb going deep along the near side for Sullivan, overthrown, covered on the play by Jude Albert. It'll be 4th and long, and for the first time we're going to see Paul Feeney out to punt for Stoughton.
Had Sullivan deep. Sullivan had his defender beat deep, just overthrown by Gibb. But nice to see Evan Gibb airing it out a little bit, maybe a preview to a new type of offense we might see for next year.
So number 37, Dan Cohen, is back for Canton. He did not have these duties in the Stoughton game, the kick return and punt return, but the sophomore is out there to receive the punt by Paul Feeney along with Brian Smith. Timeout on the field. 3:43 to go, second quarter, 27-0 Stoughton. Stoughton started their year with a big win over Franklin. They then lost 2 straight to Marshfield and North Attleboro. It was in the North Attleboro game that Evan Gibb took over as the quarterback, and they haven't looked back since except for the tough loss to Duxbury. 4th and 20. Paul Feeney punting for the Black Knights for the first time. Low kick. And they let it bounce. Cox downs it on the Canton 39. It'll be 1st and 10 for Canton after the best drive that the Bulldogs had from the previous series. But they came up short on their second 4th down effort. And now they get the ball back, down 27, 3:33 to go, second quarter, 27-0 Stoughton.
Yeah, this is their best starting field position of the game, though, so a little bit of momentum may have been on Canton's side that last drive. Of course, the second failed 4th down conversion stopped their drive, but look for Canton to build off what they were doing well in that last drive. You saw up the middle very well, run to the outside, but again, just a lot of running, not so much passing game, and look for Stoughton to prepare for that.
They go up the middle on 1st and 10 for a short, minimal gain. 2nd down and long coming up. That was Marquise Montes, a junior for Canton. 2nd and 8. Ball on the 42. Just about 3 minutes to go in the first half. 27-0 Stoughton, 4 long scoring plays. They have now outscored Canton to this point this season, 69-22. The pitch to Ragusa. He's met by Swain Price. 3rd and long coming up.
I mean, we've said his name a lot on offense. We say his name a lot on defense. Swain Price with the first initial contact, and then we see big 5-0 Andrew Hyverson making sure that gets the job done.
And that was part of my thinking as well with the MVP case with Swain Price. He had the punt block and recovery for a touchdown in the playoff game. He's done it on defense too.
He scores in different ways, and then we remember that one game we had the punt block return for a touchdown, the interception or the fumble recovery for a touchdown. Just many, many different ways the Stoughton offense can score, and Swain Price just proving that he can score in a bunch of different ways and make plays in a bunch of different ways.
So we have 2:38 to go in the first half. It's 3rd and 9 for the Bulldogs. Again, a passing situation. They have not demonstrated any ability at all to throw the ball to this point. They have 2 receivers to the right, Ragusa in motion, the play fake. Now Dillon's looking way downfield, triple covered, and it is knocked down by Swain Price. It'll be 4th down coming up for Canton.
Yeah, we had Swain, Price, Cox, and it looks like Sullivan back in coverage. Very difficult to complete a pass when your man is covered 3-1, and just fortunate enough not to come away with to give the ball away through an interception there.
And they were looking for Tony Harris. That is Canton's best hope offensively to get back in the game. He, again, the playmaker, but he was triple teamed, so they were ready there. 4th and 9 on the Canton 41. Monagle to punt again to Sullivan. Ryan fields it inside the 30. Goes up the middle. Could go all the way if he breaks free here. Inside the 30, Ryan Sullivan all the way on the punt return for the touchdown. Ryan Sullivan, his 2nd long punt return for a touchdown this season, both against Canton. And the score is 33 Stoughton, Canton 0.
Yeah, as much as Sullivan can get it done on his own, that play doesn't happen without blocking up front. And we saw several holes opening up for Stoughton there for Sullivan to run through, and just another impressive play by another one of arguably Stoughton's best players.
Ryan Sullivan doing it all for the Black Knights, and again making a case why he was named the co-MVP in the Davenport division. The extra point is good. 34-0 Stoughton as we come close to the end of the first half.
And let's not underestimate the job that Coach has done as well in the kicking game since taking over extra point duties. Just doing another great job, doing his part, and all these pieces coming together for Stoughton's great campaign this season.
So unofficially, that was a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown, Ryan Sullivan. And for the Canton Bulldogs, there's a lot to talk about at halftime. What a way to end the reign, the legacy of the Anthony L. Sarno Junior Football Field. Mr. Sarno, a longtime superintendent, teacher in the Stoughton system, principal.
Hello, Derek. How are you?
The kick by Gibb. Jude Albert fields it for Canton, and Jason Joseph wraps him up. 1st and 10 coming up for the Bulldogs. 2:04 to go in a 34-0 game, and the Stoughton fans enjoying every minute of the last game here at the Anthony L. Sarno Field.
Yeah, and this crowd has really come out. We see the field lined with fans, both past and present players. Just a lot. It's just a great community here that always makes a good showing for this Thanksgiving game. A lot of great memories, both as a fan and as a student, while into the reign of Stoughton High.
So 1st and 10 on the 29 of Canton. Dan Dillon and the Bulldogs in trouble. They go up the middle, but they have nowhere to go.
No, just too much pressure there by Stoughton's front four. Just, again, another impressive performance in this first half.
Now Dan Dillon over to the far sideline. 2nd down and 11. Dylan took over for Dennis Ross, who was the starting quarterback for Canton. Ross had been playing well, but he was removed as the starting quarterback, and Dylan has taken over and done a nice job as the backup, taking over as the starter. Today he's having trouble, so it's 2nd and 11. Short game, Ragusa. It'll be 3rd and long. Actually, yeah, that was number 50. Listed in our roster as Brian Smith, the captain. 3rd and 9. Less than a minute to go, first half.
Yeah, and thankfully for this Canton offense right now, they'll look to get back into the locker room at halftime, regroup, reassess what's going on, and try to bring out a better showing for the second half.
Out to the left is Harris, to the right is Joseph, I formation. You're just going to keep it on the ground and go to the locker room.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing you can do if you're Canton right now. Just keep the ball out of Stoughton's hands, prevent them from scoring even more points, and just go into halftime with a new mindset for the second half.
That may be the end of the first half. Canton is in no hurry. A great day here at Anthony L. Sarno Field for the Stoughton Black Knights and Greg Burke and his Stoughton Black Knights team. The seniors, 18 of them, will probably remember this day for a long, long time to come. The score at halftime, Stoughton 34, Canton nothing. We'll be back for the second half. Steve Vecchione with Dan Snyder. Please come back. And welcome back to the start of the second half here at the Anthony L. Sarno Jr. football field, the last game ever on this location. Stoughton 34, Canton nothing in the 91st Thanksgiving game between these two teams. Stoughton leads the overall record against Canton 46-40 and 4 ties. A dominating performance by the Black Knights, Dan Snyder, in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely dominating performance there by Stoughton. Just seeing all sides of their offense flashing. Swain Price with a couple impressive runs. I still don't know how he kept his feet inbounds on that one play. Sullivan doing it on special teams, and then just that defense. We've seen it all year, just absolutely nothing for Canton to run through there.
A recap of the scoring in the first half. Justin Lee, a 44-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. Eyes on Swain Price, a 36-yard touchdown run. Eyes on Swain Price, a 21-yard touchdown run. Eyes on Swain Price, a spectacular 51-yard touchdown run. And Ryan Sullivan, 74-yard punt return, his second long punt return against Canton this season. With the exception of one failed two-point conversion, they convert on 4 of the 5 conversions. Hence, the 34-0 Stoughton lead as we get ready to start the second half. Stoughton will be receiving the kickoff from Canton. Ryan Sullivan is deep, along with Marcellus Cox. Another half of football remaining for 18 seniors here at Stoughton. And a successful year for the Black Knights. They just fell a little short in the playoffs against Duxbury, a game that they could have won. They led it 14-0. And it was tied late. Duxbury pulled away late. Duxbury will be in the Super Bowl for the Division II South. We're underway in the second half. Short kick picked up by Nick Hardy. And they'll go across the 40. It'll be 1st and 10 for Stoughton as we start the second half. Good field position.
Yeah, one thing a little unconventional there that we saw from the opening kickoff. I don't know if that's something Canton talked about at halftime or something to catch Stoughton off guard. Actually not resting the ball on a tee, just holding it horizontally on the ground, keeping the ball low, maybe trying to get a quick turnover or a faux onside kick, if you will. But I mean, it is a Thanksgiving game, and Stoughton is up big, so a lot of unconventional things could occur in the second half.
First and 10, Stoughton on the 41. Sanda out to the right. Hardy in motion. This is Sullivan all the way. Forget it. They're not going to get him here. And the route continues. Ryan Sullivan, 59 yards for the touchdown.
I mean, you think Swain Price and Sullivan are having a competition right now for who can have the longest run to open up a half. I mean, we saw Swain Price at the beginning of the game, and now we have Sullivan. Just two great ball carriers who prove time and time again they deserve co-MVPs for this Stoughton team.
Tremendously long scoring plays for Stoughton against Canton in both the first game during the regular season and now here today, Thanksgiving. The extra point good, and it's 41-0. So Ryan Sullivan with a 74-yard punt return for a touchdown in the first half. Now a 59-yard touchdown run. He was not going to get brought down on that play. That play had Canton completely fooled, and it's 41-0. Stoughton well on its way to a Thanksgiving victory, and they should improve to 47-40-4 in the Thanksgiving matchup with Canton.
And you see a trend building here, just long scoring plays, very quick scoring drives, one or two plays, if anything, and then that all starts with blocking up front too on those long runs. You need Hole to run through, and then Sullivan just being able to explode through the gaps that his offensive line gives him, and he just doesn't look back.
It was hard to say how good Stoughton was going into the playoffs because some of the teams that they beat have not had good years. And they dominated Milford, and Milford, we kept saying at the time, was on a par with Stoughton, but Stoughton dominated them for 2 games. So we talked about the fact that they had a shot going into the playoffs. They knew that their next opponent, if they beat Milford, would be Duxbury, the #1 team in the state. And they came close to beating Duxbury. And if they had beaten Duxbury, I wouldn't have put it past them to win the next one. So in some ways, it's a little disappointing that they were not able to just figure out a way to win that game, because they might have had a shot at the Super Bowl with the way this offense has gone.
Yeah, if you break down the season, I mean, a good first win against Franklin, conference opponent that you want to beat, a tough test against Marshfield, a close game there. North Attleboro, they beat up on everybody, so no surprise there that North Attleboro was able to handle Stoughton there. And then you get the teams that you should be beating, the Sharon, you get Canton during the regular season, Foxborough, you got teams in your division that you should be beating in games that you can build momentum that go into the playoffs. And then it's no slouch to lose to the #1 team in the state in Duxbury. We knew that was going to be a tough contest. And you're right, they can pull off that victory. Who knows where the Stoughton team could have gone.
Canton fumbles on its first play on their first possession here. And it looks like they came up with it. Now, Tim Rake was holding the ball high over his head. And Stoughton will take over with a chance to keep pouring it on.
Yeah, much like many of these Stoughton players, Tim Rake, a crowd favorite, his older brother Pat playing just a few years ago. And I remember both of them when I was involved with youth baseball in the town, I know that family very well. And nice to see Tim Rake come away with a turnover there to open up the second half.
Stoughton looking to pour it on again. It's 1st and 10. The Canton 40. Gibb. Hands to Hardy. Runs the right side. Good game for Nick Hardy. He's run out of bounds by Harris, but a first down for Nick Hardy.
Yeah, Hardy still looking for his first offensive touchdown. We mentioned earlier 2 touchdowns earlier on in the year, called back by penalties, no less in the same game. So he's looking to punch it into the end zone for his first official score of the year.
And you might think they might make that a priority to try and get him that first score. 1st and 10 on the 27 of Canton. Sullivan behind Gibb. Hardy to the left of Sullivan. Swain Price to the right. Cox to the left. Gibb hands to Hardy.
Come on, Nick.
Nick breaks it up the middle, and he will come really close. He's in for the touchdown. As we talked about, they did prioritize it. And Nick Hardy from 27 yards out. A flag is down. Let's wait. Let's hold off two two times he had penalties bring back touchdowns before. What's the way? I'm going to hold off on this first offensive touchdown for Nick Hardy after the last time. What do you think, Dan?
I think these refs might be conspiring to prevent Hardy from getting into the end zone. We saw against Foxborough 2 calls against him to prevent him from getting into the end zone for his first score. But let's wait for the call before we make any other speculations.
They're not exactly quick with these calls. I can't make out what they said there, but it looks like that play will not count. So, not to make light of it, but it appears that Nick Hardy has had his 3rd offensive touchdown waved off by a penalty. It looked like they committed a foul near the goal line, so they have first down, and it looks to be goal. The hand to Nick Hardy. They try to get him to score again. He's inside the 5.
Yeah, look for some different formations and some different looks here, but look for the same ball carrier on every single play. I think they really want to get Hardy into the end zone here.
The ball is marked on the 6. Hard to see from our vantage point. 2nd down and goal for Stoughton. Give hands. This is Hardy, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown, and that time it should count. Nick Hardy with his first offensive touchdown of the season for Stoughton.
He's in the end zone. I don't see any laundry on the field, so that's a good sign right now. And Hardy finally getting in for his first touchdown of the season, as you mentioned. Not called back by penalties.
Well, I have to say, we did say they might prioritize getting him the score, but they just kept going to him. And now it's 47-0 with 8:38 to go in the 3rd quarter. Dan, get the film material out. But Stoughton continues to pour it on. They led 34-0 at halftime. And the extra point is good. It is now 48-0, Stoughton over Canton. And what is turning out to be a memorable offensive performance by the Black Knights here in the final game at Anthony L. Sarno Field.
Yeah, we've seen some impressive offensive performances, not only against Canton before, but many a time on this field, blowout victories for the Black Knights. And what a way to send off these fans, and what a way to send off this field on Thanksgiving to give them a blowout victory.
That was Nick Hardy's 2nd touchdown of the year. He had a pick 6 earlier in the year. So it's 48-0. Sullivan has scored twice. Swain Price has scored 3 times. Lee has scored. And now Nick Hardy joins the party. And we still have a long way to go in a 48-0 game.
Yeah, only 3 minutes to go. 3 minutes passing on that clock for this 3rd quarter, and still another quarter to play. Let's see who else can get into the end zone. I feel like Greg's going to try to get everybody involved here.
Well, you have 18 guys graduating, some of whom don't play a lot, so we'll see if we call some names we haven't called during the year. Still have a long way to go. Alice picks up the ball for Canton, or rather that's Pierre. And Canton will get it back, trailing 48-0 with 8:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. So the Bulldogs have really struggled offensively. They had one good drive in the first half. They converted a 4th down, missed on the second 4th down conversion later in the drive. One drive out of a bunch of them, and that's been about it in the whole game. They've struggled on 1st down. They've had a lot of 2nd and longs and 3rd and longs, and they're not built to pass the ball.
No, they're not built for vertical offense, as you call it. Down 48-0 though, there's really not a whole lot you can do other than pass the ball.
Dylan is going to pitch it. This is, oh, and Alice is stuck by Swain Price doing everything today.
Yeah, you think he wants to put his name on this game and call it his own. I mean, he just makes another great play and just absolutely sticks him on that play.
Dan Alice is one of the Canton captains. And Captain Swain Price with a great tackle. 2-yard loss on that play. Another 2nd and long for Canton. They've had a lot of plays that have lost yardage as compared to even getting a yard, 2 or 3 yards. They've just been really struggling on first down. And I think with Stoughton knowing that Canton can't throw the ball and they don't have a great throwing option, they're looking for that run. 2nd down and 12. Another short game, if any. And Andrew Iverson, the all-star, the captain, in the middle of that.
Yeah, we talked to him halfway through the season, and he praised his defense, praised his defensive line for really putting up an impressive campaign and just doing it again there, just making the first initial hit and making sure the job gets done, as they've said all season.
Approaching 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, it's 48. Stoughton, Canton, nothing.
Good to see you. How's everything going?
Canton struggling this season. They went 3-7.
You're still in the neighborhood?
They did not win in the Davenport division. Dan Dillon took over in the middle of the year. Has done a very credible job as the backup quarterback taking over the starting role.
I got one more semester.
But the offense is just not in sync today, and the Stoughton defense has been dominant.
No, caught off balance. Of course, any team that plays Stoughton is going to be thrown back by their offense. And then when you're down early very quickly, you run out of things to do. You run out of ideas to try to get back in the ball game, because you know if you turn the ball over, they're going to have the opportunity to score quickly right away. So that adds a little bit of pressure on it as well, because you want to make sure you make good plays and you tense up, and then you don't make those plays. Stoughton capitalizes, takes advantage.
Monagle, the punter, fumbles the snap. He gets it off. Sullivan will pick it up on his 42, and he is hit hard. He is hit hard by Mike Marino of Canton. A rare time that Ryan Sullivan did not have a long gain on a punt return. He has a touchdown from 74 yards in the first half on a punt return. Earlier against Canton, he had an 86-yard punt return. But that time he got hit pretty hard.
No, good job by Marino there too. You know, staying tough. I know you're down big, but no reason to fold over here. You're still representing the city that you wear on your chest, so you know you're going to play hard all 4 quarters of this ball game. So good to see him still making good tackles.
So it's 1st and 10 for Stoughton on its 45. This is Nick Hardy, who had a touchdown. He breaks a tackle, gets out to the far side. Nice gain by Hardy, first down, hard running.
I mean, they got him into the end zone. I guess now they're just gonna ride Hardy for all he's got right now. He's just a heavy workload, and maybe he'll get a second. You don't know. Maybe he'll get a second touchdown that's not going to be called back.
And we talked about this, that perhaps Greg Burke would start to use some of his seniors, and we see Lorenzo Espinoza, number 18, a senior, wide receiver, into the game. We haven't called his name too much this year, but good to see him out there. 1st and 10 on the Canton 43. It's 48-0 Stoughton. Gibb hands it to Luis Montero into the game as well, and he loses yardage. Good gang tackling by Canton.
Yeah, seeing some new faces and new numbers on the field for Stoughton here, as you just mentioned. Burke trying to get everybody involved. He wants to send his seniors out on a high note, giving them ample playing time and then see what they can do, and then try out some new players for next season.
All-star offensive line captain Lino Azul comes out. Paul Feeney comes in to play offensive line. So we're going to see a lot of substitutes, I think, from this point forward. So out to the right is Espinoza. It's 2nd down and 16 after that loss of 6 on the first down play. Could see a lot of running too at this point. They go up the middle for a short gain. It'll be 3rd and long. 48-0 Stoughton as we approach 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. 3 touchdowns for eyes on Swain Price, 2 for Ryan Sullivan, Justin Lee with 1, and Nick Hardy with his first offensive touchdown in the last possession for Stoughton. Less than 4 to go. Ball marked on the 48 of Canton. We'll see if Greg Burke elects to throw on 3rd and long or if he'll just keep it on the ground, leading by 48 at this point. 3rd and long. They will keep it on the ground. Hardy has nowhere to go. He's going to lose a lot of yardage on that. Good defense by Canton, looking for the run there. The tackle by Christian Walker. Hardy, a big loss. And it'll be 4th down. And punting for Stoughton will be Paul Feeney.
Yeah, Hardy running off tackle to the left on the far side. Just no gaps for him to take. Keeps trying to break it outside to find a hole to run through. Just nothing doing there. Canton doing a good job containing every single gap and preventing Hardy from any yardage.
Dan Cohen back for Canton along with Brian Smith. Feeney with a line drive punt. Cohen will pick it up and get run down by Marcellus Cox. Very aggressive on the punt coverage. Dan, what are some of your memories from this rivalry?
Well, I remember as a fan, watching my brother play in these games all 4 years. But the really fun games were the ones at Canton because that was, this Stoughton fan base can really get into it and they can really prevent a tough environment to play in. Canton does just as well of a job too. Going there, I remember seeing my brother play, watching the fans get into it. Coming back here for his senior year was always great. And I remember that game very vividly. It was a close ball game. It was 7-6, rain pouring down. Warm day. It wasn't cold. It was not like today. I would say about 60-something degrees. I'm not going to be specific with it. Rain pouring down, and Stoughton just unable to come away with a victory. I know I'm going to throw some names out there, but we'll watch this first play.
1st and 10. And Canton gets a couple. Continue.
There's some names that you mentioned now. You got Ryan Sullivan, you got Swain Price, who are household names, it seems, in Stoughton's community. A couple names back in the day, you had Dan Henning, you had Ryan Leonard, their all-star QB, kicker, punter. He did everything on the field, strong safety. Unfortunately, the lasting memory from that game was a missed field goal that would have put the game ahead. That would have put them ahead 9-6 as time expired, but just unsuccessful there. And those are some lasting memories that when you talk about Stoughton Canton, those are some of the names that I remember very well. And it seems like it was yesterday, but this was over 10, almost 12 years ago, which seems weird now, as that's how long I've almost been removed from the high school.
Well, 12 years from now, you'll remember that Canton and Stoughton played in the last game ever at Sarno Field, and you'll remember an unbelievable offensive performance by the Black Knights.
Yeah, you talk about routes, and this is nothing short of it right now, and then just a great way to send off this field from the lasting memories, and then the name attached to it, Anthony Al Sarno. You can give them the title principal or whatever he did for this community. It can't be measured just in words and titles. I mean, you ever have a conversation with the man, you know what type of person he is. He's such a positive figure in the Stoughton community. Never had anything bad to say to whoever he was talking to. Never had anything bad to say about him. Just pure representation of what Stoughton football and Stoughton community is all about.
A memorable day here at Anthony L. Sarno Field. Canton running on 3rd and long. Ragusa tough running. He's out there fighting in a tough situation, but a really nice run by Ragusa. And it'll be 1st and 10 for Canton. They get a 1st down, a rarity today. We have less than 45 seconds to go in the third quarter. 48 Stoughton, Canton nothing. Some good memories.
Some long-lasting memories that I'll always appreciate having being a part of this school, and just some fond memories to look back on when I think about Stoughton football and my time here at Stoughton High.
This may be the last play of the third quarter. It's 1st and 10 Canton. Dillon in trouble. He's wrapped up. And Tim Rake in the middle of that.
Yeah, Dillon looking for the pitch to the outside. Just Tim Rake doing a good job pursuing Dillon there, unable to get the pitch away. And a good job by Dillon, though, to secure the ball and keep the ball in Canton's possession, how little possession they've had today.
So that's the end of the third quarter. Stoughton 48, Canton nothing. Stoughton led 34-0 at halftime. They broke open a long scoring play with Ryan Sullivan early in the third quarter. Nick Hardy got his first offensive touchdown. He had a touchdown wiped out. The third time this year he had a touchdown wiped out. Finally, he was able to get one in. And it's all Stoughton to this point. I think for the fourth quarter for Stoughton, it's about getting some of your seniors into the game who don't ordinarily play. I'm guessing we may never see a pass the rest of the game by Stoughton. Greg Burke has a lot of appreciation for Canton and the rivalry. He respects the opponent. A lot of these kids know each other, neighboring towns. It's a very tight-knit community and area. Everybody respects one another, and I think although the scoreboard shows a major rout for Stoughton, a lot of respect for the Bulldogs and the community.
No, there's a tremendous amount of respect for this rivalry, and that's why it's tradition. These teams meet every single year. We've seen it for close to 80 years now. Just a lot of respect for each other, and a lot of good memories on the football field.
That's a second and 10 down play as we start the fourth quarter. Ragusa a short gain, so it'll be third and long. So this will make 19 out of 22 Thanksgiving victories in this rivalry for Stoughton. And they will bump their overall record to 47-40-4 in the Thanksgiving game. So Stoughton looking to go 8-3 overall, capping off a very exciting season here at Stoughton. A memorable one in many ways. Third down and 9. Canton has it on his 42. They pitch it to Alice along the left. Montero rides him, and Swain Price comes up to hit him, and it'll be fourth down upcoming.
The Swain Price making a good hard hit on the outside. It looked like Montero could have broke it for even more, but again, just doing it on both sides of the ball, proving time and time again why he's a almost Davenport co-MVP or MVP of this team.
I think they're going to go for it on 4th and 5. They have the ball near midfield. They had one long possession in the first half where they had a fourth down. They ran the ball and got a first down. A fourth, I think it was 4. Then the second time they tried a fourth down conversion, they failed. So this is the third fourth down conversion try for Canton. They run a reverse to Harris. This was the play that scored them a touchdown against Stoughton earlier in the year. And Harris is ridden out of bounds. He got the first down.
Yeah, opening up the playbook, as we mentioned before, it's the fourth quarter, you're down by 48. Can really almost run anything you want to right now, and it won't be called into question. So nice reverse there to get the first down.
That play worked on the first play of the first series in the Stoughton-Canton game at Canton. Harris has 4 touchdowns this year.
They wouldn't call it either.
9 minutes to go, fourth quarter, 48-0 Stoughton, 1st and 10. Up the middle with Ragusa, who has run very hard for the Bulldogs. He got about 2. And the tackle inside by Andrew Iverson.
Again, saying Iverson's name, hearing it a lot this season, doing a good job. Just tough inside the tackle, tough inside the numbers there. Just getting the job done.
Winding down in the fourth quarter. A lot of history. This football has been played on this field since 1953. 2nd and 8. They go up the middle to Smith. It'll be 3rd down. 3rd down and about 4, upcoming for Canton, looking for its first score in this game. Now in the fourth quarter of the game that Stoughton won handily at Canton back in October, Canton played very well in the fourth quarter of that game, scoring 2 touchdowns. And I think, as I said in that game, and I'll say today, Dave Bohane wants to see what he has with his team. He's going to lose some guys too, of course, some seniors on Canton. But looking to see what his team can do down 48 points. Want to continue to see his kids play hard. 3rd and 3 on the Stoughton 38. They go up the middle, and Ragusa will be short. Another 4th down upcoming. Gang tackling by the Black Knights.
Ragusa trying to just get the tough yards up the middle. Stoughton doing a good job, as you said, gang tackling, making sure you need multiple players to take down a runner like Ragusa. He's a tough runner. He's going to get the job done. He's going to make sure that he gets the tough yards, and Stoughton doing a good job preventing that.
Another 4th down try for the Bulldogs as the clock runs down here. We're going to see a lot of running the rest of the way, I think. But Canton really wants to get its first score, so they may mix in a couple passes here if they can continue to keep the drive going on 4th down. 4th down and 2, we'll call it, on the 37 of Canton. They run up the middle with Smith to the 35, and it's close.
Yeah, they had to get the 35 to move the chains forward. It looks like the ball's rested just, if that's the spot, just short of the 35-yard line. But it looks like, it looks like they're going to give him the spot, and it looks like they're going to give him the first down. But we'll wait for the officials' call.
It's a first down for Canton as the clock continues to tick. So Canton keeping it on the ground, trying to get its first score. 48-0 Stoughton. It was 34-0 at halftime. 2 more scores in the 3rd quarter. And now we're winding down some history here in Stoughton, Massachusetts. Stoughton will go to 8-3 overall. Canton will drop to 3-8. But the Bulldogs, with less than 6 to go, have a 1st and 10. Mike Marino is behind Dylan. He takes the pitch, and he gets about 7. Montero with the tackle, 2nd and 3 coming up.
Yeah, we saw it from the game in the regular season between these two opponents. Canton not giving up in the 4th quarter. They're certainly not going to give up today. Just trying to put some points on the board, get some yardage going, prove that they're not going to quit. They're not going to be out of this ball game completely. Their minds are still in it, so they'll translate that onto the field.
Ball marked at the 28. So Stoughton will be playing at neutral locations next year for home games, to be determined where those are. 2nd and 3. They're going to throw it, or try to throw it, as Dylan completes it for a 1st down to Mike Marino.
And a nice little block there by one of the officials on the field that we saw. Not sure if Azul was going to be able to get to him, but nonetheless, referee making a good block for Canton and helps Canton getting the 1st down.
I guess at this point they'll take all the help they can get. But again, a credit to Canton. They're moving the ball nicely here in the 4th quarter, not conceding anything, looking to see if they can get on the scoreboard here in this rivalry game. Ball marked on the 21. They have a 1st and 10, 4:45 to go. A rare pass completion. Marino behind Dylan. Marino is racked up on the run, 2nd down and long coming up.
He stuck right away. Good job by Stoughton's defensive line there.
Tim Rake was in the middle there.
Nice to hear his name called a lot in this ball game. We saw with the fumble recovery to open up Canton's first possession of the 2nd half, and just making good tackles, making good plays, proving that he's going to be a big part of the Stoughton defense in years to come.
4 minutes to play. Let's go, let's go. And the last game we're going to see here for at least 4 years. Say no
48-0 Stoughton. 2:40 to go in the game. They run up the middle. Ragusa is stopped. And Stoughton looking to preserve the shutout. This would be their 4th shutout of the year. The crowd is fired up, looking to preserve that shutout. We have 2:20 to go. 3rd and goal on the 5. So Mike Marino coming back into the game for Canton. He put them in this position with a nice run earlier in this drive. 3rd and goal on the 5. We have 2 minutes to go. And a little bit of excitement to see if Canton gets its first score or whether if Stoughton can preserve the shutout.
Yeah, you know Canton wants to punch it in here, but a goose egg would be a great way to send off these Stoughton fans.
They pitch it to Marino, and he is brought down by Iverson short. It'll be 4th down and goal. A minute 35 to go as Canton with one more chance to crack the end zone. Ball on the 1-yard line. Wrapping up the Anthony L. Sarno Jr. Field on Thanksgiving morning here in Stoughton, Massachusetts. 4th down and goal. The crowd is on its feet. Dillon pitches to Marino, and he is thrown down by Luis Montero, and Stoughton preserves the shutout. A tremendous defensive play.
4th and 1, ball on the 1, right on the goal line. Montero wasn't going to let it happen. Stoughton's defense just too strong in this ball game today, and you know they wanted to send off these fans with a shutout victory and send off this field with a shutout victory.
So after an incredible amount of offense by Stoughton, a defensive play is what wraps things up here at Sarno Field with a minute to go. And before we go, I just want to thank some people as we wrap up our coverage on Stoughton Media Access. I want to thank you, Dan. I want to thank Yanni Itanes for his help, Tommy Smith, Rich McDonough, Kevin Boucher. I want to thank my wife, Cindy, who helped me with a lot of the pre-work as she held an umbrella for us in the Milford game. Barry Sachs, my friend, helped with stats. And I want to thank CJ Mullin, who's done a great job shooting. The camera work has been tremendous. And I want to thank very much Jeffrey Pickette, who gave me the opportunity to do these games. Jeffrey, thank you. It's been a tremendous season of Stoughton football.
No, just to echo what you've said, Steve, it's just been a great opportunity to come back to where I grew up, provide some insight on these ball games, and see some great football while we're at it. A lot of people to thank, as you mentioned, Jeff Pickette, CJ Mullin, Tommy Smith, everybody involved with Stoughton Media Access Corporation. And one thing that we didn't mention is nice to see Evan Gibb on the sideline while David Salucci goes back into the ball game, takes the final knee to send off his season, to send off this field, and just a great story for Stoughton football.
Great pick up there, Dan, as I was thanking some people. Nice to see Salucci in the game at the end. And we're down to the last 5 seconds. That is the end of football at its current location here in Stoughton. The final score, the Stoughton Black Knights 48, the Canton Bulldogs nothing. A memorable Thanksgiving Day here at Stoughton High School. For Dan Snyder, I'm Steve Vecchione. Thank you very much, and have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, everybody. Black Knights on 3. 1, 2,